Here we go. It is time for another sprint zone. It's been a while, and we've got a pretty large crew. We've got Greg back there wearing his new kit, little shot of Mark as we swing by, and there are some strongmen up front. And for a rather cold day, we have about 21 riders strong. There's a few people that haven't been around for a while, Dean, etc. But today they are making their appearance as we head into the Prospect Sprint Zone proper. I'd like to thank Scott Polyev for his video and his telemetry. We've got our 30-second powers up top, instantaneous or 3-second power below, along with Scott's GoPro footage in the upper corner. We make the corner here, and everyone is pretty lethargic, or it isn't really lethargy. It's people are looking to ride coattails and to be at the back of the pack. But I noticed that Scott is starting to head up the road, and I do not want to be caught back too far and have to work more than I need to. Not that following with Scott up front's going to be a picnic. Looking at my 30-second power, 180 watts, 190, it wasn't a small effort to actually make it up here. But I'm here nevertheless. 30-second power now. Both of ours are over 200. And there's lethargy in the pack as people did not want to go and try to bring us back. I am not certain what was up with that, but they gave us a little bit of a leash there. Not certain. Anyway, it looks like John in the bright neon yellow and Roby giving us a little respect, and they are going to try to bring us back. I'm certain that was probably causing a little bit of strain in the peloton, and I can see looking rearward splits are already occurring. People sitting back, and I go to the front now, give Scott a little respite. It looks like they have caught us, but we need to keep everybody honest. We'll get a smaller selection out of this one. Looking at Scott's camera, you can see there I am working hard up there as we've caught B-Train, who was waiting up front, and you can see his jersey flapping. And I was not too pleased with this. Not that it wasn't a good move, because it was, but I was working hard, and now looking at my 30-second power over 220, right now that's over my FTP, and Byron is just dancing on the pedals. And being second wheel here, it's no picnic. It is, the draft isn't as good, and one has to throw out much more, and I did not get a real chance to recover here. Rearward, yes, everybody's strung out. Those people that were looking for a free ride, looking for an easy coast to the front for someone to pull them up, are now fighting for position, and perhaps this will be a lesson for them to pay attention. And we have a small selection. We've got Curtis, Jensen, it looks like might be Jim back there, maybe Andy Lockwood or somebody. Looking really strong here. Roby looking good, Scott looking good there. And you can see the difference in our power. So look at my 30-second power, 180, and Scott's only 146, which is a testimony to how much extra draft there is the further back. So at this point, I'm hurting. I had done wrist over the weekend. My Garmin said I was overreaching, and I could feel it. I did not want to throw anything down here, and I would have really appreciated the chance to have sat back with some of the robble. And it looks like there was a strong chase group back there. Steve Hyland taking up the mantle to bring everybody together again. And I could see he was getting absolutely no help and bringing on the wheel suckers, or sometimes known as NPCs. At this point, I've given up the ghost, and I try to get not in front of Steve so much, but to try to swing on to the train as it went by. But no mas. I was not able to grab on as I was just too gassed. People coming through, Ian coming through, Eric coming through, Dean back there, and Dean is being kind, and he is pulling us along. And thankfully, I am able to sort of get in. And there's an NPC move by Eric. Dean does a lot of work to keep people together, and there's an attack not to help us, but an opportunistic move to get himself onto the train. Heavy sigh, have people learn nothing. I mean, from that movie Top Gun, never leave your wingman. And if you've got a group that you can work with, don't leave them unless you are really strong or just like not a nice guy. Ian's struggling out there, and I make my pass as I start to recover. Looks like we got Jim back there, and it looks like Mark and Rick bringing up the rear. And Jim comes through nicely, working pretty hard. I thought he came by faster than he should have, but I was at least able to get on as he was going after Dean, who I believe was a little bit annoyed that people were not working together. And you can see the group up front. They are not that far up the road. If we could get organized here, there's a chance that we could bring them back. But this is not what is going to happen here. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Looking at Scott's camera, we got Roby going up the road, making a little bit of a move, trying to get off the front, but he is not going to make that happen. So back to my camera. And here's this little grade where we should have stayed together after Dean did a lot of work up there, but we didn't. And we're going pretty hard looking at my instantaneous power, over 200. And if we were able to sit in and coagulate, that would have been good. But now Mark goes off all cowboy, sat in for a while, used the rest of, and just launched. And this is not good, especially after the group was trying to work together. And like, I can see, and Dean said something like, he's like, I'm not going to pull ever again. And I understand that because people are not working together. They're making these little moves and they're blowing themselves up. Jim blew himself up back there. Mark is off up there, and here we have Mark pushing air, Dean pushing air. If we could have gotten together, life would have been good. Because look up the front. They are not that far up the road. And here we are, it's just divide and conquer. So I think Dean said something about going around, and then he accelerates here. I'm like, I would have gone around, I would have worked, but here we go. This is just like, yeah. And I believe this is when Dean said something right here. And it's just like divide and conquer. And I was still trying to recover here. Heavy sigh. So we're looking up front, and it looks like they are well organized. Roby is still up the road with his little bit of an attack, but it's probably going to be short-lived as there are strong men back there, and perhaps his hubris has gotten him into trouble. Sitting in and riding the coattails, it'll get you so far. You can save up a lot of strength. And now we look at my camera. With Dean probably on my coattails, were able to bring Mark back. So now we had like a lot of us just fighting the wind out there. 1, 2, just like divide and conquer. And that's what people that do breakaways, that's what they want to see. They want to see Cat 5 moves like that. And there's Dean going off. He's a little frustrated, and I get that. And I am unable to go along with that. But live and learn. I definitely got a good workout. I was pretty much gassed the whole time. And now we look at Scott's camera up front. Curtis Jensen, who's been doing indoor workouts, very strong. And it looks like Roby just sat up. And when people see that, if they know your heart isn't in it, if you're going to just sit up, they're not going to even chase you. And you just burn yourself out. But I suspect he might have been able to get back on. Curtis looking strong. And looking at Scott's power, you can see him sitting in. It's not that great. 30-second power, 150 watts. I could have been there. And you look at my power working back there. My power is close to what Scott's is for 30 seconds. And now things are going as Scott goes to the front, 400 watts. And it looks like it is game on as B-Train with the jacket open there, the vest open, and in resemblance of a cape, perhaps a signal to who he really is. Steve looking really strong there as it is indeed go time. And I got to hand it off to you, Steve. That was a nice move. You pulled back everybody and you were able to make it to the front group with lots of strength. Most impressive. And you'll notice that we have switched to the main screen of Scott's view. Thank you, because mine is just basically dead air. And this looks good here. And now we have Scott coming over the top here. 700 watt instantaneous power. And I don't think anybody is going to be able to match that. I can't see up the road, but I don't see anybody coming around. B train gassed and it was unable to drop people. Steve looking strong, and it looks like for these past few weeks, Scott is pretty much invincible. Where are the supers when you need them? Just kidding. Where's Mr. Nelson? JC? Michael Matthews? Strong men that can perhaps keep Scott in check. In any case, well done, Scott. Well done. And another one down. And a good time was had by all. And as you can see, I'm still working pretty hard back there, sitting on Mark's wheel. We're just like way dropped back there. Besides, I mean, it was a good workout, but the coordination just wasn't there. So anyway, this will be a note to people, and take note. Take note who you can work with. Take note who attacks. Take note who are wheel suckers, NPCs. Learn their moves, because they pretty much have the same ones week after week. So once you learn that, once you figure that out, it'll be like, okay, I know what you're going to do. I got you. I got your game here. All right. Peace out, everyone. Until next time, a good time was had by all.